Okay, thank you so much, Boulder, the nonprofit user group meeting at the Upslope Brewery in Boulder, Colorado. Thank you for hosting. This is going to be a recording of the material that we covered. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly kind of go through some of the things that we saw today during the nonprofit user group. This also works for for-profits. It's kind of all the same content. It's within Salesforce, so if the data is there for you, you can use it. And the idea really here is that we went over a couple different things. The main one was using formula fields to create dynamic segmentation and in our case, dynamic content inside of an email. And then also I showed the new email editor. We have a new template editor that allows someone who knows nothing about HTML or email design or whatever to quickly grab a designed template by one of your designers, and then they can go ahead and enter their message, and this way you still have good control over your branding, and your design team is happy about what they have sent out. So right now I'm going to go ahead and go through what we did. Make sure my Skype is turned off. And not going to get any alerts. Okay, great. So let's take a look at where we started. We started with a contact, and that contact has a special formula field on it. It's called transaction level. Transaction level is looking at the last date of the most recent transaction and then determining, is that person current, or are they lapsed, or have they never transacted before with this organization? And the way we did that is we created a transaction level custom field. And custom fields are created here. If you just come into the object that you want to create a custom field on, click on your little view fields. I'm on the contact record here. I click view fields. And then you can see that you have the ability to create new. And in this case, it's going to be a formula field. And the formula is going to produce text. And we gave it the name of transaction level. So it ends up looking like this. And what this is just kind of a big if statement. If somebody transacted this year, they're current. Maybe they transacted last year or 2 years ago. If it's greater than that, then they're lapsed. Maybe they have a household gift, or maybe they have an account level gift. Maybe they're a foundation or something. They transacted at the account level. Any logic that includes these two pipes is an or, so it could be any time. And then if they're lapsed, you can note that, or no gift yet means that they don't meet any of the criteria, but there should be some value there so that you can keep track of, well, they don't meet any of these other statements, so they must be no gift yet. And one more thing to note here in this logic is every if that starts with a parentheses needs to end with one. So that's why you have the string down here. So then we put that to work in a report, for instance. So once that transaction level exists, you can do a summary report and see what's the health of your donor base or your account base, who's transacted this year, last year, and you can start to see how many lapsed you have versus no gifts or even current. It's always good to know the health of your organization. And then what we do here at Predictive is we then allow you to create an email that utilizes that same functionality. So I'm going to go into a campaign here, an events newsletter, and I've started the newsletter already. And the way our email works is we then use the campaign object. All the campaign members in it become the list that we are sending to. And I've created a new edition. In this case, I'm actually working on number 81 right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click Edit. And that's going to bring me into our email editor right here inside of Salesforce. We don't have to log into anything else. Click Design. Our email editor provides you with HTML as well as a drag and drop interface. So I was working on a September news. There it is, September 12 news. And you can see here I've taken that dynamic content based on the transaction level and inserted it like a merge field right here. And that dynamic content, let me just pop back to the campaign for a second. That dynamic content allows you at the campaign level to put different messages based on their transaction level. So I'm just going to pop back into the campaign for a second here and show you that at the campaign level, we have this transaction message. And so here's the message that they'll see in rich text format based on their transaction level. It works just like a merge field. And so I'm just merging it right in. We also have standard merge fields that you can use as well. And then the editor itself is just a drag and drop. You can see here, we dragged in some columns, added a column, equalized it, and then we have 3 columns of text down below here with images. Buttons as well, you just drag them in and give them a link and some color, and away you go. So we'll go ahead and just click OK now, save it, close it, test and send. And we're ready to send out our newsletter with dynamic content. Just make it active. And it's ready to go. Go ahead and click send now. And we're sending mail from Salesforce. And then as it goes out the door, we can take a look at some of the results that we get. I'm going to go ahead and actually switch right over into Lightning because we also do work in the Lightning interface. And we can see what things look like there. You can create dashboards, take a look at your current campaigns. Let's go ahead and refresh this. And what we do is we can capture what we call web page ROI as well as email ROI. And what this does is it tracks how many opportunities were closed and what was the previous email that was sent to them, or what were the previous web pages that someone looked at just before an opportunity closed. And of course, inside of Lightning, you can always view the report, the underlying report, to see which campaign was involved with the transactions. And so that's how we work within Salesforce. We send email through campaigns, and we can use dynamic content inside of those campaigns as well. And what I'm going to do is just pause my screen for a second and then bring up my email reader so that way we can see what this thing looked like. Okay, so here all this email came in. We can see Denard here. Thanks so much for your support this year. That's come in. Compared to somebody else who maybe hadn't transacted, so please consider supporting our work with a gift today. And then here, this person's in California, so they see a dynamic message of Golden State Surf's Up. But someone who is in Colorado might see a Rocky Mountain High. Thank you, John, Denver. Okay, so that's sending email through Salesforce and using dynamic content that is based on a formula field. And so then the next thing I'd like to just take a quick look at is our latest feature, which allows you to set email templates in what we call an e-maker. Email templates can then be approved and enabled. You can even set one as a default. And what this does is it will allow email senders who don't really know anything about email design to get the look and feel that your design team wants and still send the mail. So for instance, here's something from the desk of the ED. Let's just go ahead and we can create a new edition. and show you how this eMaker works. So again, this is designed for the email sender who really shouldn't be allowed to design email, but needs to send. So we've created a new edition here. I'm going to go ahead and click Edit. And here you can see the default of stationery. Let's go ahead and change that to maybe a newsletter instead. We even have a headline. And then let's just go ahead and get some content to put in there. Let's see here. I'm going to copy and paste from a newspaper article and go ahead and just paste it in. Let me give it a headline. And then save that. And then this is a preview of what it's going to look like. You can also insert links. As well as images. Basic functionality. Let's not. How about we put in our own. And what this will do is it will, save that, take the template's typography. So again, the designer sets the typography levels, and that's what ends up getting placed in here. So then in this case, the executive director can go ahead and write a story, write an article, be given a template that has everything pre-designed in it and ready to go. And then go ahead and test it. Oop, we need a subject line. Notes from my desk. Keep that. Go ahead and save it. Let's start this today. And we'll make this one good also until, let's say, the end of the week. Go ahead and save that. There's a message up here that tells the user where they're at. And then we can go ahead and send a test. Go over to my email reader. Notes from my desk. There we go. And so this way, the formatting is all in there. And the person who's sending the mail, even though they didn't know how to design an email, it looks good. It's got the right branding. It's got the right social links. It's got a link, in this case, to Transact. And they're also going to get all of the data inside of Salesforce. So all the transaction level information, whether they opened or click, that's all going to be there. The settings here allow you to set who it's going to be sent from. So obviously you could update this here to the first name, last name. And then when you're ready to go, you can go ahead and just activate it. And it'll tell you what schedule it's going to send on, or you can just click send now and it'll start sending. And so that is a preview of our latest functionality, as well as some of the data that we bring in to Salesforce to create reports and engagement tracking. All of that is here inside of Salesforce. One other thing I wanted to show you here is this transaction levels. You can actually see which web pages people clicked on if you're using our Enterprise Edition, but our Professional Edition does come with that email ROI, which tracks which emails were sent just before transactions closed. So that's a quick overview. Please feel free to visit us at predictiveresponse.com and click on Demo if you want to learn more and see how this would fit into your organization. If Predictive is the right fit for you, then go ahead and if you think it might be, then click demo, find your time zone, and go ahead and schedule a demo, and we'll walk you through how our solution works for you. So thank you so much for listening. And for those of you who are with us in Boulder, thank you so much for joining at the Upslope Brewery. And thank you again for your time.